Hi, everybody. My name is Stu Brackney, a graduate of Church Farm School in the year 1962, a little while back. No, that's not my picture. I wish it were. I will be your guide today to introduce you to some of your neighbors, some that you've never met before. Former military guy, Captain Airborne Infantry, jumped out of airplanes, Vietnam, currently a board member of the Phoenix Astronomical Society. So, when I was at Church Farm School, we went to chapel every Tuesday and Thursday morning. The colonel or his son, Mr. Charles, would lead the service, do a mini sermon. We would sing some hymns and we would pray. We would pray that we would pass the chemistry exam by Earl Wilkins. We would pray that we would win the cross country meet coming up against Westtown. And then we would also ponder, trying to figure out who are we going to be? What are we going to become on this planet? Because guess what? That's what Church Farm School was about. Trying to figure out what kind of dent we will make. What kind of difference will we make on this planet Earth? Well, I'm here today to tell you a little bit about your neighborhood, resident of Earth, and here's what it looks like. This is commonly known as your solar system, not to scale, but to the left is the hot, hot, hot sun. Next to that, we have the planets. We have Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars and Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus and Pluto. And there's little Pluto way out there. Well, I'm going to help you understand a little bit more about your neighbors. First of all, let's start with Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun is big. He is a star, okay? And he provides us lots of heat. It is a nuclear fusion activity going on inside. Nitrogen being changed through fusion to helium. It emits a lot of radioactive materials and kinds of dust and whatnot coming your way. It gives you heat, it gives you light, and it is big. How big is our sun? It's a mediocre sized sun compared to others. You could put 1.3 million Earths inside our sun. Yep, that's right. It is a big sun, but not compared to some others. Look at this one. This is a sun or a star called Betelgeuse. It's up in the Orion constellation. I mean, this guy is gigantic. Now, the diameter of the sun, our sun, is 865,000 miles. Looking to the right in this graphic, this is Betelgeuse A star. Its diameter is 960 million miles diameter. It would engulf Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter, all of them. So there are giant stars out there, and then there's our mediocre sun. Okay, this is what the solar system kind of looks like. The sun's in the middle, and the other planets on a plane called the eclipse, they kind of revolve around the sun. The sun's magnetic pull keeps them in check, if you will. You've got asteroids, comets, meteors, meteorites, all flying around. Everything is moving. Let's take a look. The first planet close to the sun is Mercury, fleet of foot, so say the Greeks and the Romans. But she has, or he has, no atmosphere. Those white spots, those are impact craters. Who knows? Asteroids, meteors, comets, we don't know, would impact the surface of Mercury. Interestingly enough, because they had no atmosphere, it's as it's been for about 4.5 billion years. Nothing's changed. Holy cow. And this planet is traveling about 112,000 miles an hour. It takes 88 days for it to make its trip around the sun. Next, Venus, the goddess of love, the morning star, the evening star. The Romans loved her, the Greeks loved her, but look out, guys. She is a vicious, vicious woman. The cloud cover keeps the heat of the sun in like a greenhouse effect. She's raining sulfuric acid. She has carbon dioxide that will kill you in a second, and she has such a high barometric pressure you would be squashed as soon as you got inside the atmosphere. So my question to you is, you might want to stay away from Venus. Give you an idea. Earth Our diameter is about 7,900 miles. Venus, 7,500 miles. So Venus is a little bit smaller than Mother Earth. The next planet, third in line from the sun, is Mother Earth, as I mentioned. We live in what people refer to as the Goldilocks zone. We're not too close to the sun or the oceans would boil away. We're not too far or we would freeze to death. We're traveling at 67,000 miles an hour around the sun. Takes us a year to make that trip. We have 7.2 billion people on our planet, and we have millions and millions of things, species of life that walk on the surface, fly in the air above, swim in the sea, and grow. We are an amazing planet, and guess what? We have not found in our search any other planet that has what we have. We also have a moon. Now, the interesting thing about the moon is that she has an impact on our planet. You ask what? Well, this photograph is taken from the moon during an Apollo mission. You can see the astronauts' footprints. The moon's magnetic gravity pull, so to speak, the gravity pull of the moon on the Earth affects our oceans, our tides. And when the moon and the sun get together with their gravity pull combined, that's when we have the super duper high and low tides. Question is, are we going to go back? Yes, we are in the next year or so. But it's the only place in our universe that we have set foot on ourselves, humans, other than planet Earth. And NASA says we're going to be back up there again in the next year or two. But people ask the question, how was the moon created? Well, the word is, planet Earth's about 4.7 billion years old. And during its infancy, a large object crashed into Mother Earth. And when that happened, all the debris that was scattered around coagulated together to form our moon. That's the strongest theory that we've got going for us right now. Next in line after Mother Earth and our moon is the red planet Mars. She's red because she has a lot of iron oxide on her surface. She also has a lot of impact craters, again because of the debris and objects that are flying through space, landing on her surface. We are there now. We've been there before with our rovers, and the current rover is the Perseverance land rover. Perseverance actually took a helicopter because that helicopter recently flew its maiden flight on Mars' surface because Mars does have a thin atmosphere. Perseverance is drilling holes into the ground trying to figure out what is under the surface of this planet. Theory is a lot of sedimentary rock. There might have been water on this planet, boiled away or sunken below, and they want to know what it looks like. After Perseverance collects these samples, she will put them in canisters, and by the year 2032, follow-up missions to Mars will bring those canisters back for investigation and analysis. We've got some rocks up there in our neighborhood. They're called asteroids. Some of them are like a softball. Some of them are as big as a volleyball. Some of them look like they're as big as a little mini Volkswagen bus. They're flying around. To give you an idea about where they are, here they are. In this diagram, you see Mars. Next in this girdle-type ring around the sun and Mars, these asteroids fly. But this image is a little off because it looks like that they're right next to each other. And trust me, there is a big space in between all of these asteroids, FYI. After the asteroid belt, we come across our gas planets. Now, the first planets were terrestrial planets. They have dirt, rocks, solid surface. Now we're into gas planets, and the first one is Jupiter. Jupiter is a gas giant. She's got storms going left, storms going right, and the storm in the middle, the red dot, as the sign says, it is big as planet Earth. It's been going on for about 500 years. Now, Jupiter has some moons. Yes, sir. And one of the discoverers of the moons was a guy by the name of Galileo Galilei in 1610. He was one of the first to take a look up into the sky with his little telescope, handheld, and he said, wow, there's something going around Jupiter. And he drew sketches of them. And then he noticed when he looked back at Venus, Venus had images that looked like our moon, half moon, full moon, crescent moons. Uh-oh, Galileo made a statement. And he said, I think the Earth is not the center of our universe, but the sun is. He was right. But it got him in trouble. Catholic Church put him under house arrest because they didn't believe he was correct. Now, Jupiter has a lot of moons. 79 to be exact. We're moving on. Get ready for one of my girlfriends, Saturn. First time you see Saturn through your own telescope, your heart will skip a beat. These rings are made out of little dirt particles and ice crystals. Saturn has 53 moons, and they have spotted 29 others that they're still trying to confirm. Now, Saturn is spinning quickly, I mean really, really fast on its axis. It is a beautiful structure. The Cassini spacecraft went up to Saturn, circled Saturn for quite a few years, sent back marvelous pictures like this so that we are still analyzing this wonderful planet. Next in your neighborhood is Uranus. Uranus is frozen water, methane, ammonia, as the sign says, but look at her. She looks like she tripped and fell. She's got rings. You see a couple of her moons. Actually, she has 27 moons, but why is she on her side? We don't know. We do not know. But what we do know is she wobbles. The astronomers looking at her saying, why is she wobbling? Something is causing that planet to wobble, and they predicted that it's probably another planet out there somewhere. And guess what? When they got a more powerful telescope, bam, they were right. They saw Neptune, another gas planet. Neptune is composed of a lot of hydrogen and helium. Okay, there's your gaseous planets. And then we have some people who come in and out of our neighborhood. They're called comets. Most of you have heard of Halley's Comet. Comes in about every 76 years and then leaves us. Well, what happens? Well, here's a little rendition of all the planets on their plane, the eclipse. There's the sun in the middle. These comets come in from way far away, and their orbit or their route comes down around our sun and back again. They don't come very often. Some don't come by for about 200 years. But they are fun to watch. They don't stick around very long. Comets, visitors. We have other visitors. We have meteors that come and land on our planet. This is a hole north of Phoenix, Arizona. It's 570 feet deep and 4,000 feet wide. But the object that created that hole was only 130 feet wide. It was a meteor. But when it crashed, it made what you saw on the other planets, an impact crater. So there you have it. There's all your planets in our solar system, and of course the nuclear reactor, our sun, and its gravity keeping everybody in check. But guess what? We've got another place to tell you about, and that is, where do all of these people live? Our neighbors. They live in a galaxy, and the galaxy's name is the Milky Way. This is an artist rendition of the galaxy. We're looking from top down. It's a spiral galaxy. Some galaxies are round, some oblong. This is a spiral galaxy. Where are we in this spiral galaxy? Here we are. We're in one of the arms where that black star is. Now, how big is this galaxy? Well, I'll tell you. We've got our sun and 8 planets. Well, this particular galaxy doesn't have 500,000, not 500 million, 500 billion stars like our sun. That's a lot. And then our satellite telescopes are finding other galaxies, not hundreds, not thousands, but millions of galaxies that are bigger than the Milky Way. Okay, if you look up in the sky with a good pair of binoculars and or a small telescope, you could see lots of stars as well. This is a globular cluster of stars. Take a look. The blue stars are the younger stars. They're hot. They're smaller. The orange stars are bigger. They're older, and they're not as hot. Okay, so those are stars. There are also another kind of group of stars called star cluster. This is called the Pleiades, the seven sisters up near the Orion constellation. And you can see blue, small, and they are really kind of fun to look at. You could see these with the naked eye and a good pair of binoculars. Okay, where do stars come from? They come from this. These big globular clouds of dirt and chemicals and molecules and whatnot. They're called nebulae. And in these gaseous chambers and structures, these little particles start sticking to each other. They become attracted to each other, and that's where stars are created. This particular nebula is called the Pillars of Creation. Here's another one called the Crab Nebula. They are making stars inside this nebula. Here's another one called the Orion Nebula. This is the closest star nursery to planet Earth, and it is right below Orion's three-star belt. It looks like a gray smudge to the naked eye or with binoculars, but a powerful telescope, and this is what you see. Okay, remember I mentioned to you Pluto. Now, Pluto is an interesting planet because it's now considered to be a dwarf planet. In 2006, New Horizons spacecraft took off heading towards Pluto and beyond. And in 2015, 9.5 years later, it flew by Pluto at 36,000 miles an hour and took this picture. Pluto, so beautiful. And look, impact craters like everybody else. It's just that it's not big enough to be a full-fledged planet. All right, so there's your solar system. You've got it all, by golly. You've got stars, you've got meteors, you've got asteroids, you've got comets, you've got planets, and you've got dark sky. So I would recommend next time you go back to Church Farm School for a reunion or an athletic event, and you take in the beautiful renditions that they've done of the school, the renovations rather of the school, and the upgrades, that you look up and see some of the neighbors that I've just introduced you to. Until next time, have a great day.